What's all this business about Goldbach levels?
I'm going to break down ICT's latest trade and show you how he uses Goldback, aka Enigma, to execute all of his strategies. In this video, I'm going to teach you another advanced Goldback concept. Now, the way I have constructed my channel, all I want you to do is 2 or 3 things. Okay, the first thing, I just want you to have a look at this video and the previous 100 videos, or at least a subset of the 100, and just ask yourself the question, what Cam is showing me on the charts, is price obeying the Goldback principles that I am teaching you? That's all you got to ask. Is price obeying the Goldback principles that Cam is demonstrating on the charts? And then whenever I break down an ICT trade, you can then ask yourself, is price obeying these Goldback principles? And does Michael seem to be trading the Goldback principles that Cam is teaching? That's all I ask. So my job is purely to provide evidence of Goldback, and your role is just to analyze the evidence and make your own mind up. Now, a few things to get through today. I want to do a little bit of education on Tesla and the Tesla vortex and give you some basis to the mathematical underpinnings of Goldback. So if you go to my Twitter feed, you'll find this video, and this explains Tesla. But I urge you to go and have a look at the original that I posted. So that should start giving you a little bit of theory on how the Goldback algorithm works and how the Goldback levels work. Now, some interesting threads, and I'm just going to present the evidence and you conclude whatever you want from that. So on the 25th of December, I posted this clip basically talking about a very old ICT video where ICT talks about Pepsi and Coke and the fact that he has the secret recipe. Let's say that's Coke, but he's not allowed to share that with you, so he created Pepsi, which is close enough. Now, my job and Hoppy's work is all about presenting you with that secret recipe. And for us, that secret recipe is Goldback. Now, I'm not saying Goldback is Enigma. That's for you to make up your own mind. All I know is that the market is priced using Goldback, and every trade of ICTs that I've analyzed publicly matches up with the Goldback levels. So interestingly, I posted this on the 25th of December, and then ICT made a video on the last day of the year, which was the 31st. So today's the 1st. And if you go to the 40-minute and 46-second mark, I would like you to listen to what he randomly said, the words he randomly said, a short time after I posted about Pepsi and Coke.
Years ago, Coca-Cola and Pepsi had a really, really nasty war with one another. It was fun to watch, but Pepsi and Coke's formula, Pepsi's like a real, real sweet, sickeningly sweet. When I was a kid, a child, I preferred Pepsi over Coke. Coke to me tasted too mature, it was like battery acid to me. So I favored Pepsi. And then Coca-Cola and Pepsi got into this feud where one said, well, I'm going to get as close as I can to your formula, because they had their formula. They had it. So they ended up creating a blend of the opposition's soda. And they said, here it is, new Coke. But it was basically Pepsi.
So anyway, he goes on for a few more seconds. Go have a look at that in your own time. And in the comments below, let me know what you think he's referring to, based on the fact that I posted something about Pepsi and Coke on the 25th. And on the 31st, he starts talking about Pepsi and Coke, and based on what he said. So just let me know. Just as a heads up, my previous video, which I posted on YouTube, is a breakdown of this trade exactly. So have a look at that breakdown if you've not seen it, and tell me if you think the way I've explained ICT's trade more closely aligns with what he's taught you publicly, or a secret way that he trades, which he calls Enigma, but which I explained perfectly using Goldback? Just let me know in the comments below. Now, let's go to the teaching for today. So a number of people have asked me to break down gold and how you can trade gold using Goldback. Now, given the state of the world right now and how uncertain it is and what worldwide events could kick off, I want to get myself into a long swing gold position. So I've been having a look at gold this morning. I'll tell you how to analyze gold, one way to analyze gold using Goldback. So let's open up the indicator firstly from first principles. So the indicator is called DMN's ICT AMD Goldback. If you are new to my channel, before you ask a question or doubt my work, please order my videos by most popular and watch the top 3. That will explain a lot of the questions that you have and will prevent you from asking a question that shows that you are brand new to Goldback. And just watch those videos and then you probably won't have the question that you're going to ask. Also, if you would like to learn more about Goldback, there's a link to Hoppy's official Goldback book in the description below, which has access to the Discord. That is the official Goldback book. There are no other Goldback books. That is the one. Hoppy is the guy who released it. Okay, so how do we set up the indicator so you can trade with me from first principles? Oh, a little bit of Goldback theory. Just how I explained the long-term price movements of Bitcoin and Tesla stock, it applies for gold and other commodities, right? It's slightly different with gold, but I will show you a way to trade it using this methodology. Now, as you know, well, if you're new to my channel, you probably don't, but the power of 3 numbers dictate how Goldback works. Now, the all-time high price of gold was 2145. Now, if we have a look at the power of 3 numbers, the next number up is 2187, and the number below that was 729. So when price was below 729, the dealing range was between 0 and 729. As soon as we broke 729, the dealing range expanded, where the high then became 2187. Okay, so the dealing range gold is operating in now is from 0 to 2187. So let's set up our indicator. We remove the things that we don't need. Let's set the power of 3 number to 2187. I'll have my labels in white. Okay, we have now loaded up. So, as you can see, we are right at the top of the dealing range now. How do we trade this? We don't necessarily want to wait for price to fall back into a discount before we get our longs, but price is fractal. So even between the PDA levels, we have smaller fractal Goldback dealing ranges. And this is one way to do it. So we are operating within the order block, the bearish order block dealing range. So we can fractalize it. The low of this partition, we say, is the low of the dealing range. The high of this partition is the high of the dealing range. This is a Goldback fib. So it has exactly the same percentages where this is the low, this is the high. We expect rejection block, order block, fair value gap, liquidity void, breaker block, mitigation block, breaker block, liquidity void, fair value gap, order block, rejection block. And these are the extensions. Okay, so let's drop to a lower time frame and let me show you how you can trade things like gold. We're going to drop to a 9-hour. It's not just about the standard time frames that people use. There are special time frames. I like using some special time frames that align with the power of 3 numbers. Okay, so let me write these out again for you, so it's very clear. So this would, the orange line is the low. This is the rejection block. The order block will form here. fair value gap, liquidity void, and so on. So EQ will be here, equilibrium. Now, a quick bit of teaching. Again, like I said, the dealing ranges are predefined via mathematics. So if price is here, the low of the dealing range will be here, the high will be here, and then the PDAs will form in these zones. So I'll show you how price action respected Goldback for gold. This is the order block level. You expect order blocks to form here. What do we have? We have an order block. Okay, there is your order block in the order block GB level. Look at how the price respected the top of the GB level. What do we expect here? We expect a fair value gap. There is your fair value gap in the fair value gap GB level. Can you see again how it filled the fair value gap GB level? So this is where the fair value gap is expected to form. This is where it actually formed, but price still respected the GB level. Okay. Liquidity void, then we have the breaker. The breaker level is one of the bigger levels. So the mean threshold of the breaker we call a non-GB level, which is 50%. Do you see how that non-GB level was a sensitive price? The top of the breaker was sensitive. So if you look at one of the trading plans in Hoppy's book, that's fully explained in the Discord, there is also another trading strategy where you can use the partitions as almost a support and resistance also. So depending on your bias, you can catch moves when you reject off of the top or bottom of a GB level. Okay, let's see how, do you see how sensitive we were to EQ? This is the equilibrium. Once we broke through it, we bounced off of the equilibrium. And where did we TP? We penetrated through the high of the dealing range. Now, we have a stop run also. And this one isn't so accurate. It depends on the price feed that you have, but I'll show it to you anyway. 6510 was the power of 3 stop run. What is the power of 3 number that we expect? 6561. 6561. Sorry, what was this? 6510. Pretty close. Pretty close. So we're expecting a 6561 stop run. We had 6510. So this is one way you can trade commodities like gold. Once you know the power of 3 number that's being run, you can wait for certain reactions to take place, and then you can catch big moves. So hypothetically, what you could have done is you could have looked to take your trade, let's say this fair value gap. Let's say you wanted your stop at the swing low, and you're going to take it off at the high. That would have been a nice 1 to 3. I don't trade gold, but I'm looking for a long position to get into. But this gives you some ideas on how to trade commodities like gold. This is an advanced teaching. If you're looking for simpler trading models, feel free to have a look at the trades that are broken down for ICT, and then you can learn how he trades. If you want a concrete and complete trading model, then the link to the book is in the description below. That has all of Hoppy's trading plans in there for Goldback. If you would like me to create any more content for Goldback, or have any suggestions or questions or comments, you can leave that in the comment box below. Otherwise, I wish you happy trading, and all I ask is that you keep your mind open to allow yourself to see the possibilities of price action and how Goldback is used within the market every single day.